The hallway buzzed with the quiet shuffle of passengers and the dull hum of intercoms. Until it didn't. A coffin, draped in the American flag, lay motionless at the edge of the jet bridge, caught in a stillness no one dared disturb. Beside it stood a soldier, ramrod straight yet trembling inside. And in front of him, two security agents, arms crossed, blocking the gate. No exceptions, one said coldly. Passengers began boarding. The coffin did not, and neither did the escort. No one saw what was coming next. Staff Sergeant David Reyes had served in silence, not for the medals, not for the praise, but for the man who once carried him on his shoulders and taught him how to tie his boots. His older brother, Michael. Michael never made it back. He was the one coming home now, in silence, under a flag. David had volunteered to escort him. He'd insisted on it, not just for protocol, but for love, for closure. He hadn't slept in days. Grief clung to his uniform like dust in the desert. Every layover, every delay, every indifferent stare. It piled on. And now, here, at this final stop before home, a new obstacle. Airport security. The agent repeated the words, bureaucratic and hollow. Escort status doesn't authorize priority boarding on this route. Orders or not. David didn't argue. He couldn't. His throat was closed tight, his hands clenched to stop from shaking. Some stared. Most didn't, but someone unseen, was watching. The line of passengers grew, murmurs rippled as people noticed the flag, the tension, the man in uniform holding himself like glass. A mother pulled her son closer. A businessman frowned, at his watch. No one intervened. A stewardess approached quietly, asking the agents to reconsider. They refused. "We're just doing our job." David looked past them, to the plane, to the rows of seats where he should sit close to his brothers. Remains. Every second felt like another betrayal. He wasn't asking for attention. He was asking for dignity, and even that felt out of reach. Somewhere near the cockpit, the flight crew was informed. "There's going to be a delay. Escort can't board yet." And that's when the pilot stood up and began to walk, Captain. Eliza Monroe had flown hundreds of missions, civilian, military, humanitarian. But this was different. She stepped off the plane, past the gate agents, past the silence. She saw the coffin, saw the trembling soldier, and without a word, she took off her cap, knelt beside the flag, and placed her hand over it. "Is this who we've become?" she said quietly, but loud enough for the gate to freeze. Then she stood, turned to the agents. "If he doesn't board, this plane doesn't fly." Passengers stared. Phones dropped. The agents hesitated. For the first time, they looked unsure. David didn't move. He couldn't process what just happened. The pilot, was standing beside him. Not out of duty, but out of something rarer. Decency, respect, humanity. Captain Monroe turned to the gathered passengers. "This man is accompanying his fallen brother home. If we can't find space for dignity, we have no business flying." One by one, people stood. A woman offered her seat. A man in a suit set down his bag and saluted. Even a child tugged his father's sleeve and whispered, "We should wait." The agent stepped aside, not because of orders, but because they could no longer justify standing in the way, and as David boarded, coffin beside him, head bowed, everyone stood. A silent procession, not of war, but of honor. The flight was late. No one complained. No one asked for compensation. Something greater had happened. An invisible thread pulled tight in every heart. When the plane landed, every passenger waited. No rush to disembark. The captain herself helped David carry his brother down. For once, grief was not met with indifference. For once, love didn't have to fight for space. David would later say he barely remembered the flight, but he would never forget the silence, the unity, the stand. Sometimes, it only takes one person to remind us what humanity looks like. If this story moved something in you, don't just scroll past. Share it. Honor those who walk with grief in silence. And if you ever find yourself watching someone face injustice, be the one who stands up. Subscribe if you believe the world needs more moments like this. Be the reason someone still believes in goodness. Start today.